Today, we're going to break in this new Mercury. Sounds so good. So this past weekend, I finally got the first 2 hours of break-in done on my new Mercury Pro XS 4-stroke. And to anyone watching, I want to stress to you how important it is to break in your new marine motor correctly. And so what I want to do is I want to show you how I did it. I want to show you how you should do it. And I want to stress how important it is. These motors cost a lot of money, and there's a lot of intricate parts in them. And you need to follow the manufacturer's guidelines to the T when it comes to breaking in your new marine engine. It's not like a new car where you can just get it and go all out with it right from the get-go. I would not recommend that at all. You need to ensure the reliability and the longevity of the motor, and you can do that. You can help it go a long ways if you just follow the proper break-in procedures. If we look on page 53 of the marine engine or Mercury Marine user manual, you'll see it tells you in big bold letters, failure to follow the engine braking procedure can result in poor performance throughout the life of the engine and can cause engine damage. That should scare you to death. Last thing you want to have is a busted motor out in the middle of nowhere because you didn't break it in correctly, or the amount of money you're going to have to spend later to fix issues because you didn't break it in correctly. But for the first 2 hours of operation, you need to run the engine at a varied throttle settings up to 4,500 RPM or at 3/4 throttle. And you need to go full throttle for approximately 1 minute every 10 minutes. So what you're going to need to have is some sort of clock or a stopwatch or something with you. You can use your phone. I use my graph. I have a little timer on the graph I was using, and you can just kind of track the time intervals that way. Just started a nice round number like 30 minutes, and then at 40 minutes, you're at that 10-minute mark. You need to give it a wide open throttle for 30 to 45 seconds, and that's what I did for the first 2 hours. The next 8 hours aren't nearly as bad. You can kind of run it however you want. I personally you can run it however you want. You just can't go wide open throttle for more than 5 minutes at a time. Also, what I did is I kept the motor trimmed down for the majority of the first 2 hours. During times when I was going wide open, I would trim up a little bit, but what you're seeing here is basically what I did for 2 hours. I would run the thing between 3,000 and 4,500 RPM at very time intervals, a minute here, a minute there, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, and then at about the 9-minute mark, I would settle down and idle for about a minute, and then I would give it all she's got, like I have right here. Even going wide open throttle though, I would still just barely trim up, just so I can hit, get those RPMs upwards into the mid 5,000 range. I never got really close to 6,000 RPMs. I stayed somewhere between 5,000 and 5,500 RPMs whenever I was in the break-in for that 30 to 45 seconds where you're actually trying to follow the procedure there of going wide open throttle for 1 minute every 10 minutes. But for the most part, it was just simply riding around, just cruising around. You need to do this in a part of your lake or a river where there's not a lot of boat traffic. If you're breaking in a new engine, you're probably not super comfortable with it right off the get-go, so go somewhere where there's not a lot of boat traffic. This is the Tar River in Greenville, North Carolina, and it is known to have floaters everywhere, meaning wood and all kinds of stuff. So I actually idled through this area quite a few times, and I made sure that there's nothing floating in the area, so I felt comfortable going wide open throttle during this stretch here. And this is really all I did. you know, for 2 hours. I just kind of cruised up and down. It did some S curves every once in a while, did some U-turns that got comfortable with the boat, and then I'd sit it down every once in a while like I'm doing right here and just play around with something for a minute while the boat idled. You know, I put some water in the live wells so I could, you know, kind of get a feel of how the boat would perform, you know, on a tournament load, you know, with full live wells. I got about a half a tank of gas in there, so it's pretty much a tournament load that I'm running right now and breaking this engine with. But again, I want to stress how incredibly important it is to break in your motor correctly. So what I'll show you here, though, I had just finished, just before I put this down, I had just finished the first 2 hours. And I said, okay, 2 hours are done. Let's see what this boat really has. And so I gave the Triton all she had here. And you can't really tell it from looking at it, but I actually hit 69 miles an hour here, just at around 5,500 RPM. So the boat has a lot left to give, actually. But this is the first true wide open run that I give the boat after the break-in. So those first 2 hours are critical, but as soon as those 2 hours are done, go ahead, give her what she has, but again, not for more than 5 minutes at a time. That run I just did, I actually did trim up a little bit, trimmed up a little bit more than I had been before, and you know, again, that's when I really saw what the boat had. And I was impressed, by the way. This new Triton is just something else. The motor is phenomenal, and you can probably tell through all these videos it gets on plane super quick. And so I love the boat, I love the motor, and I want to ensure that it's going to perform flawlessly, you know, for as long as I have it, which is going to be a good long time. So again, the engine braking is incredibly important. Page 53 of your user manual will tell you that in big bold letters. Your dealer should tell you that. You know, the boat dealers will tell you. I mean, everybody's going to tell you that. So you need to listen, and you need to, you need to perform engine break-ins correctly. So that's that. That's the engine break-in. That's how I did it. I would suggest you do it in a similar way. You know, just have a good time with it. Don't go all out right away. Just wait. At least wait those first 2 hours. Alright, that's it. Appreciate you watching.